I knew something was wrong the moment my husband stopped touching me. No goodnight kiss, no hand on my lower back when we passed in the kitchen. Just silence, cold, dry silence. We used to be the couple people envied two kids a house in Connecticut holiday cards with matching flannel pajamas. I thought we were solid. I thought we had weathered the hard years. But then he changed. He started going out at odd hours, hiding his phone, smiling at text messages he wouldn't let me see. And when I asked if everything was okay, he gave me that rehearsed, distant look that said, "Don't push." I told myself it was work, stress, burnout, midlife. But something deeper was breaking, and the cruelest part, he wanted me to feel it. I didn't know it then, but he was planting the seeds for something bigger, a game, a punishment, a betrayal so complete it made me question if any part of our 20 years together had ever been real. This isn't just a story about infidelity. It's a story about what happens when the person you trust most, your partner, your family, turns your life into a weapon and pulls the trigger. My husband stopped touching me, and I knew something was wrong. It started slowly, a missed kiss on the forehead, a half-hearted love you from across the room. Then one night in early October, I reached for his hand while we were watching TV and he pulled away. No words, just a quiet shift. And suddenly, I was alone, sitting next to someone who used to be mine. We've been married for 20 years. We met in college. He was quiet and tense, with a dry sense of humor that snuck up on you. I was the one who smiled too much, talked too loud. We balanced each other out. Our sons, Ethan and Max, are 17 and 22. We live in a two-story house just outside Stamford, the kind with a basketball hoop on the garage and a porch swing that hasn't swung in years. He used to be affectionate, attentive, not just with me, but with the boys, the dog, his job life in general. But lately, he's been distant, and I don't mean it distracted, I mean absent. He comes home later than usual, says he's working out more, and he's always on his phone. Always. At first, I blamed myself. I'd been tired, snappy, caught up with work at the clinic. Maybe I'd stopped being interesting. Maybe I'd aged out of his love. I even asked him 3 times, actually, if we were okay. He said yes, every time, with a smile that never reached his eyes. Then, last Thursday, I found a hotel key in his coat pocket, just one of those generic plastic cards from a chain off I-95. I froze. My heart actually stuttered. I put it back exactly where I found it and didn't say a word. Because somehow in that moment, I realized something horrifying. He wanted me to find it. He used to be my best friend. Then he became a stranger. I spent the entire next day walking through our house like it was a crime scene. His coffee mug on the counter, his socks on the floor, the framed photo of our wedding on the mantel, him in a gray tux, me in my mother's veil, both of us laughing like we had no idea what real pain was. What changed when I kept asking myself that like it was a riddle I could solve if I just remembered one key moment. Was it last spring when I took that weekend trip with my sister to Vermont? When I came back, he seemed different, not colder, calmer, like he'd finally made some internal decision and didn't need to tell me about it. I tried to snoop. I'll admit that. I checked his messages, but he had a new passcode. He never used to have a passcode. His emails were clean, too clean. The trash was emptied, the search history scrubbed. It was like he knew all the places I'd look because he had done the same. And then I noticed something else. He was happy, laughing more, whistling while he made his protein shakes. He even shaved his beard, something I'd begged him to do for years, and suddenly it felt like he wasn't mine anymore, like he was getting ready for someone else. I confronted him once, just asked softly, "Is there someone else?" He didn't flinch. He just blinked and said, "Are you asking me that because you feel guilty about something?" I couldn't breathe. The way he said it, so casual, so composed, it rattled me. Like I was the one who'd done something wrong. Was he gaslighting me, or was I truly losing it? That night I lay awake listening to him snore softly beside me and thought, I don't know this man anymore. But I was about to because 2 days later I followed him. The night I followed him, I found more than I was prepared for. It was raining. Not dramatically, just that cold, whispery drizzle that makes everything feel a little off. He said he was meeting Joey and Oz, his longtime friends, for a late fight night. Said they were ordering wings catching the prelims. I nodded, kissed his cheek, and watched him walk out the door in a hoodie and cologne he hadn't worn in years. I waited 10 minutes, grabbed my keys, and followed at a distance. I was shaking so hard I could barely grip the wheel. He didn't go to Joey's or Oz's. I knew where both of them lived. Instead, he pulled into the parking lot of a quiet mid-tier hotel near the interstate. The same chain as the key I'd found. Room lights glowed in that flat, eerie way, anonymous lives behind each curtain. I parked far enough to stay hidden and watched from behind my steering wheel as he got out of the car. Then she got out too. A woman, tall tone, long auburn hair and a braid, dressed like she belonged in a yoga studio. I froze. She hugged him. He hugged back, not casually, not awkwardly, intimately, and then they went inside. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I just shut down, completely. Like a switch flipped and I became someone else. But it wasn't just the betrayal. It was something worse. I recognized her. Nina, the one friend of his I always felt weird about, the one who never really looked me in the eyes, the one he told me not to worry about. She's like a sister, he said once. She's just always been around. Of course she had. She'd been circling for years, and now apparently she'd landed. I sat there in the car, rain tapping the windshield like tiny fists, and realized something that almost made me laugh out loud. This wasn't just an affair. This was revenge. He wanted me to see. He made me think I was going crazy. Maybe I was. The next morning, he brought me coffee in bed. Vanilla oat milk latte, my favorite. Just like he used to, his voice was cheerful, too cheerful. He kissed my temple like nothing happened and asked if I wanted to go hiking that weekend, said he found a quiet trail near Bear Mountain. I stared at him like he'd grown another head. Because 24 hours earlier, I saw him walk into a hotel room with another woman, but I said nothing. Why? Because part of me still hoped I was wrong, that maybe I hallucinated it, that maybe Nina was just giving him something, dropping something off, or hell having a breakdown, and he was just helping, anything but the truth. And part of me was terrified of what would happen if I said it out loud. Over the next few days, I watched him watch me. Subtle glances when I entered a room, gentle questions, "You okay, babe? You seem a little off." I started noticing little things. He changed his phone wallpaper to a quote about healing and letting go. He left his laptop out but logged out of everything. He smiled when I looked over his shoulder like he was daring me to ask. He wasn't hiding anything anymore. He was curating it. One night I heard him on the phone, soft voice whispering in the garage like some teen sneaking calls past curfew. I pressed my ear to the door. I couldn't hear the words, just the tone, low, warm, familiar. And when I walked in on him texting the next day and asked who it was, he replied with the same eerie calm, "Why you don't trust me?" That was when it clicked. This wasn't about Nina. It wasn't even about the affair. It was about control. He was turning me into the kind of woman I used to pity, the one who tiptoed, apologized for breathing, lost sleep scrolling through his social media, praying she'd find nothing. And maybe, just maybe, he was enjoying it. On Christmas morning, he disappeared and left me a box. The night before, everything felt normal, or his version of normal. He poured me a glass of wine, suggested we open one gift early. He even played my favorite Nat King Cole record, hummed along like he wasn't dismantling our life one piece at a time. We slept in the same bed. He held me, really held me. For the first time in months, I wanted to believe it meant something even though I knew better. When I woke up, he was gone. At first I thought he went for bagels or coffee, but the silence in the house felt different, not temporary, empty. Then I saw it. A white box on his side of the bed, wrapped in simple red paper topped with a silver bow. Next to it, his old phone and a business card I didn't recognize. My hands were trembling when I opened it. Inside were printed emails. Text messages, photos, timelines, receipts, every detail of my affair with Paul. Yes, I cheated first. Months ago, while my husband was recovering from surgery, I fell into something reckless with a younger man from work. Paul made me feel wanted. Seen, and I told myself it was just an outlet, something temporary. I never planned for it to last. But he found out. Somehow he found out everything. And in return, he staged the perfect revenge, pretended to cheat, pretended to love someone else, pretended to fall out of love with me. He never confronted me, never yelled, never cried. He just built a bomb and left it on my pillow. I collapsed on the floor with the binder pressed to my chest like a dead thing. I called him over and over. It rang, straight to voicemail. That's when I noticed the note taped to the inside cover. Merry Christmas. And just like that, after 20 years, 2 kids, and one gutting mistake, my husband vanished. And I knew I wasn't the victim of an affair. I was the target of a war. I tried to make it right, but he wouldn't even look at me. For weeks after he left, I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. I walked through the house like a ghost. Our youngest Max stayed with his brother. The silence was unbearable, no laughter, no footsteps, no one asking if we were out of almond milk, just me and the walls and the guilt. I tried everything. I called, texted, emailed, nothing. I reached out to mutual friends, most ignored me. A few sent back messages so sharp they cut things like he deserved better, or you brought this on yourself. One friend, his sister, told me he didn't want contact unless it was through his attorney. Even my own parents couldn't look at me the same, and Paul, the man I thought I had feelings for. He tried to comfort me at first, but I could see it as panic. He didn't expect this kind of fallout. His text got shorter, then stopped. I remember the night it really hit me. I sat on the kitchen floor holding a photo of our wedding and whispered into the dark, I ruined everything. It wasn't dramatic, it was hollow. I thought about driving to his new apartment. Yes, I eventually found out where he moved, but I didn't. I couldn't. I ran into Joey at the grocery store one day. His face tightened the second he saw me. I tried to smile. He didn't. All he said was, he loved you so much, past tense. That crushed me more than any insult could have. I started writing letters. I never sent them. I just kept them in a drawer, desperate attempts to explain what even I didn't understand. I told myself I would never do what I did, that I loved my husband, that I just got lost. But none of it mattered now because I saw it in his eyes when we finally met weeks later in a lawyer's office. I said his name. He didn't flinch. He signed the papers, barely glanced at me. And when I asked, is there any part of you that still loves me? He said nothing, just stood, adjusted his coat, and walked away like I never existed. This is what betrayal does. It kills you slowly, even when you survive. It's been 9 months. The house is sold. The name on my mailbox is no longer mine. My boys call me, but their voices are different now, polite, careful, guarded. I don't blame them. I think Max still loves me in that quiet, broken way children do when they're trying to protect something small inside themselves. Ethan, he's colder. I can feel it in his silence. I lost more than a marriage. I lost my place in the life I built. Some nights I lie in bed and try to remember what my husband's laugh sounded like, not the one near the end, the hollow mocking one. I mean the real laugh, the one from the camping trip in Maine when our tent collapsed in the middle of a storm and we both sat in the mud soaking wet, crying from laughter. That laugh is gone. So is the man who gave it to me. I tried reaching out again last week. One last time. Just a short email, I'm sorry. I wish I had loved you better. I wish I had loved myself enough not to ruin what we had. He didn't respond, but I didn't expect him to. And maybe that's the point. Maybe some things break so completely they can't be stitched back together, not with time, not with therapy, not even with love. Because love, real love, can't survive in the dark. I see him sometimes, from a distance, at the grocery store, on the platform at Grand Central, once in a cafe sitting across from her Nina. They were laughing. He never saw me, but I watched him lean in and brush her hair back from her face, and something inside me, something small and stubborn, just died, not from jealousy, but from understanding. He found peace, and I never will. I still dream about him sometimes, not the man he became, but the man I married, the man who held my hand during both births, who learned how to braid our daughter's hair with YouTube tutorials just to surprise her, who used to warm my side of the bed on cold winter nights. I remember him because I need to, because the truth is, no one walks into a marriage thinking they'll become strangers. No one plans to betray or be betrayed. But pain doesn't ask for permission, and healing isn't a straight line. I lost the love of my life, but more than that, I lost the version of myself who believed love could fix everything. If you're listening, if you've ever been betrayed or done the betraying, just know this: you're not alone. We all carry our scars differently. Some hide, some burn, some bloom into something new, And if my story made you feel something rage, sorrow, even uncomfortable truth, I invite you to stay. Subscribe. Sit with me in the silence because sometimes the stories we need most are the ones that hurt the worst and maybe just maybe help us feel less alone.